Good morning, Freedom Boat Club members. This is Steve Hamber with Navico. We represent Lowrance, Simrad, and B&G. Today, I'm here to talk about the Lowrance Hook7 on these great parkers here in Huntington Beach, California. To get started, we have a power button down here in the lower right-hand corner. If you press this, this will ignite. You'll hear a little beep, and the unit will start to turn on. It takes a few seconds to warm up. It'll go through its processor, load up all the sonar data, mapping data. You'll see the first page appear with the maps. It should be here any second. And you'll see that it's loading the charts. This is a MFD, which is what we call a multifunction display. You can do your charting on here, your waypoints, your navigation. Here you can see loading charts down here at the bottom. We're going to accept it. It's just an acknowledgement that you're here to use the machine responsibly. And this is going to be one of your most used buttons on the unit. Take a look, there's a return button. It's right below our cursor, and there's a little arrow, sweep back arrow. Hit that, and things will start to happen. As you can see, first thing we have is our map data, which here, locally we're in Huntington Beach. It'll actually pinpoint your boat exactly where we are. To zoom in and maneuver on this particular screen, we have a plus and minus button. If you hit plus, things will start to happen. We'll zoom in. Okay, as you can see, we're going to zoom in right on top of our boat. And here we are in the marina, and you can see the little triangle. That's our boat. If you zoom on out, it gives you a bigger perspective and also allows you to give you a general scope of the area. You can zoom out and actually cover the entire half of the country. Moving on, what we want to do is go ahead and get a little understanding in how the machine works and how we can set things up. So, to splash a page or create a page of your choice, we have a little thing up here called Pages at the top. It's the left-hand corner button. If you hit this, this goes into our initial setup. As you can see at the very top, we have settings, we have waypoints, we have information, and we have storage. This unit does hold a micro SD card, and a micro SD card can bring you a host of many things. You can create waypoints on your computer at home, or people give you, load those on a SD card, you can bring them to the boat, insert that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The coolest thing about it is being able to design or see a page of what you desire. One of the most favorite pages for most folks is to have the chart and the sonar, which is your graph up and down. This is probably the most viewed screen because what are we out there to do? Go fishing, right? We're looking for fish, and this is going to help you find the fish. So if you select it, as you can see, it's highlighted. If you hit return, now it presents that particular page with the map on the left and our sonar on the right. We're going to get underway here shortly, and we'll be talking about a couple more things here before we part. Obviously, this unit will get multiple use, and we have some great features in this particular unit that allows you to record trails, create a route. What's important also is as you get familiar with the unit and you go out for the day and you want to record it and you had a great day and you want to save all that information, you can virtually load that SD card and you can upload it actually to that card and save it for your next trip, your next boat, wherever you're going with Freedom Boat Club. So to get started, if you remember, I had this top key right here. If we go to this part right here, we go up, these are your settings. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but here's your waypoints and trails and routes. Okay, so right now we have a bunch of waypoints in here that people have put in. We're going to keep those because those are probably some really good spots, but the one that we want to really take a look at is we have only one trail in here, okay, and that one's been on forever. And if you take a look at the map, you'll notice when you first turned it on, we had all those trails all around here in Southern California. We want to clean that up. It really starts to clutter up the screen. So how you do that is you highlight it like I've done. You go up, you go down. Trail number 1, okay, is highlighted. If we come into here, first thing that you're going to do is come down here. We're going to go ahead and turn the current trail off or simply delete it. So if we hit this, it's going to come into here. It'll confirm that this is what you really want to do, and you hit delete, and now we have no trails. It just cleaned up all those lines off the display, and we'll take a look at that in a second. Now, you can record the trail a couple of different ways. You can record the trail with a line following your boat throughout the day, or if that's kind of distracting or don't want to see, you can turn it off and hide it, but still record it. So there's quite several options. To get to those, simply highlight new trail, okay? And you see where I just talked, it's on. You can display on and record. You can also give it a description, so if you're into that. The other thing is I'm going to talk about a lot today, and that includes waypoints. Marking a waypoint, really easy, but here's the deal. If you put number 16 and number 17, all of a sudden, at the end of the day, you've marked 10 or 20, 30 points, whatever, you're going to go, well, which one was that? Get into the habit of naming your items. So if I hit X, we go back to our chart, and off we go. If we take a look at this, also I want to point out right here is if we take our cursor, you'll notice that the activity window is on top of the chart right here. There's a light golden yellow frame around it. If I go to the right, you can see it on the sonar. So whatever you're going to be doing, your active window, you need to highlight that box. So I'm going to go back to the chart. Remember the return key, guys? Hit the return. Now I have a full screen of the chart. And if we take and zoom in, okay, our plus button, we zoom right in on top of the boat. Notice all the lines that were there previously? They're all gone. Again, X button, you can see up here in the top, we've got the return to a full screen. Just takes you back exactly where you were on here. And then I'm going to hit my clear cursor, and that puts our boat back right here in the slip in the marina at Freedom Boat Club in Huntington Beach. Here we have our chart. We're zoomed in. We're going to even get zoomed in a little bit more. And we can see it's coming right out of the slip. Look how accurate that is. We can see the boats, of course, left and right. We're going straight up the channel here on this detail. And we've actually marked a spot right where we were, where the boat is. So one of the things that Danny just asked for, if you take a look at the corner here, this is north up with your little arrow. So in order to change that, we're going to do some customizing on our chart here. So if you hit your return key, right, we're going to have things that are going to happen up here. New waypoint, find, new route, more options. If we come over here, okay, if we take a look, we can overlay certain things on top of here. We can actually have some of our graph information come up here to see where you've recorded. And right now we have course up, and it's totally a matter of preference. Some people like to see their boat going up the screen. Obviously, if we're heading south and we have it in north up, the boat's going to be going down to the bottom of the screen. To change that, highlight that particular spot. Okay, and now we have north up. Notice the boat's going at an angle on the screen, but that's what we have in order to get there. We also have what we call look ahead. What that does is it gives you a more front-forward option to look at the screen. So it brings your boat down into the lower fourth of the screen. It doesn't center your boat up. Right now in the normal mode, it has your boat exactly in the center of the screen. So you simply hit that, and notice it pulls the boat down into that quadrant of the screen and gives you more front-forward looking up ahead. Also, your chart options for all of you guys that have charts. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but we do. Oh, excuse me. Notice on your boat now, we're headed a little bit more north, so now it's pointing straight up the screen, and you can see your north up. That indicator arrow is always at the top right-hand corner. Will give you where your boat's headed to in relation to north. If we want to go ahead and return back to the split screen, up here in the left-hand corner, we do return to split screen option there. Hit your X key, and now we have our sonar on the right, chart on the left. Now, something that I want you to give you a heads up on is on your power button, we have some great features. And a lot of people will never touch the power button because they simply think it turns it off. But there's a great prompt segment in there. One of the things that I'm going to do very quickly is hit my power button, and if you'll notice, we've got a host of things going on here. We can go into standby. Standby turns the unit in a standby condition if you're not using it. Maybe you pulled in for lunch, you just want to put it in standby. Power off, this is where you turn it off. Also your brightness. Also there's a night mode, so this can get very bright. You're navigating at night, you can go into a night mode. It gives a different color hue. But the one I really want to point out is adjust your splits. This is a great option. If I highlight it, again, take your return button, hit your return button. It gives you a little button in the center of the screen. And in that button, you can either go to the left or you can go to the right. In my case, I kind of like more sonar because that's what I'm out here to do, is fish. So I'm going to hit that, hit your return button, and it'll readjust the screen just like that. Okay?